Welcome back. Let's try to do our first HTTP GET. So let's go to the documentation, or let's go to good old Google. So I'm going to Google Elm HTTP, and this brings me a few things. I know that this one here is pretty good. So elmprogramming.com, fetching data using GET, and it talks about setting up your backend, which we've already set up. We can skip by that. We do need to install the Elm HTTP library. So let's go back to code, and I'm in the UI directory, so I can just install that. And do I want to do that? Yes, please. Okay, so we can now see we have an updated Elm JSON, and it's included all of the required libraries. Excellent. Okay, now we can start actually making the changes. Now, I want to start simple, so rather than decoding the entire JSON payload, let's just start with fetching the main thing, and maybe just leaving it as a string, because that's the simplest thing we could do. So I'm going to try to do that. Let's go back here to our example. There we go. Here's the update stuff. Okay, so we're going to do something very similar to this. We're going to do something very similar to this. So we're going to switch back to our code, and let's take a look at what we currently do for our command. So right now our command consists of this. That's our initial command that we're running. Let's actually pull that out. Just say let's say initial CMD. So the initial CMD is a CMD MSG, and initial CMD is equal to this. There's a reason why I'm doing this. It's actually because I really like that this forces, once I declare the types, this makes sure that I stay within those types. Okay, no change, just a small refactor there. So the current command is wait 3 seconds and then call this, send this message. Let's start updating. So let's go over here, and we know that our message types are going to be similar to this. So I'm going to go over to message types. We now have 2 message types: the send HTTP request and the receive data. Cool. I'm surprised it didn't complain about this, because we no longer define that message type. I see red over here. It did catch. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is complaining about that there. I knew there'd be some kind of a syntax error. Okay. What's next? Well, let's just steal this. Let's steal this update, and we'll replace our update with their update. Don't really need to say that twice. And we're also going to need this get nicknames, which I'm not going to call get nicknames. I'm going to call it get main. Steal that. It's not bad. So, get nicknames. Actually, do I want to call it get nicknames? Maybe. The URL is actually something a little different. We know, I'm going to go to Postman. This is the URL that we're going to do. I'm going to grab this bit because that's the host. So I'm just going to say, let's say host is equal to that. Now, of course, your host will be different. I'm hard coding it to my host. There are some things that we could do to, I could pull this from the environment. I really shouldn't be hard coding this, but I think for now that works. Let's just hit this. So that's our host. So the actual URL will be host followed by, so that's the append, and it's portfolio main. So we just want that one record as the portfolio name. Now it's not get nicknames, it's really get main. So copy that, copy that. Nice. Okay. And that goes here. Okay, looking pretty good. Now our initial command, I don't want to do this. I want to get main. So for initial command, I'll say get main. Right, so that kicks it all off. When the app starts up, we start off with the initial model, and then we're firing this get main command. So get main will, what will it do? It goes over here, it does an HTTP-get. Here's the URL. And when the response comes back, we need to basically say, well, we're expecting it. This is the expected string response. Now I haven't defined data received. Oh yes, I did. I did it up here. Data received. Yeah. It's got 3 different things. That looks good. Okay. So I do need to update my update. Something along the lines of this. Looks good. Let's just grab this and we'll just replace what we're doing right now with this sample code. So here's our update. Now it's not get nickname, it's get main. And that looks pretty good. Let's see, HTTP. I wonder, did I update? I think I need to do import HTTP. Looking good. Okay, except that we're doing the wrong thing here. So, we just stole some sample code. So, yeah, there's our initial command, which is just. I'm now thinking that I don't really need to have this initial command. I could probably just say get main. That's probably a little more obvious. So we're going to start off by getting main. That command does an HTTP get URL expect. So yeah, this will cause this command, which is an HTTP get this URL, and then this is what we call when we receive that data. I think data received is a little generic, so I'm going to say main received. And we're going to go up here, and this is now main received, main received. Excellent. Now, if main received, when it comes back, we do need to worry about the two cases. if we got an error, well, the current code just basically says, nothing's changed. I think that's okay. We're going to change this, however. We want to, we'd like to return the populated model. Right? And do we need to do this nickname split thing? Not really. However, I do know that I will want to, I do want to update the populated model. You know what? I'm just going to leave this as is. We just want to see this in action. Let's just make sure that I haven't broken anything too badly. So now we're going to do the Elm. There it is. Let's build our code. Let's flip back to Chrome and refresh. And here's what we're expecting to have happen. We're expecting that it's actually going to do, so initially be blank, but that's going to be really quick because then it's going to fetch the data. It's not going to use the data, but it's going to fetch it, and then it'll display this web page. So I'm expecting it's going to briefly say loading, and then we'll see this page. Let's give it a shot. Loading. Not bad. Okay, cool. And if I do it again, it's probably going to be even faster. It is. Good. All right. So we've done a data fetch, but we don't see any of that data. Let's actually change that. So I think one thing I could do, I could just stick the data that we get back, the unparsed data, into the title. That would be pretty obvious. So let's do that as a test. So to do this, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to say that this is the default main. Actually, default profile main. So it's just a record that's got all that data. And maybe I'll just do this. Okay, now there's a reason why I did that. I think it'll make it easier to do the next step, which is at this point. It's not, the thing that we got back isn't a nickname string, it's payload string. It's going to rename that. And here's what I want to do. I want to create a new main section based on that payload. So let's say main profile equals, and we're just going to take that. It is a record, so I think I do that. I'm going to say, what did I call that thing? The default profile main. So we're going to take default profile main, and then we're going to add our data to it. So main profile is default profile main, and okay, now actually I think this is what I want to do. Yes. So it's default profile main, but we're going to update some part of it. What are we going to update? We're going to say that the title is equal to the payload string. Yeah, this is totally wonky. I mean, this is not what you expect to see. What's here? Okay, yeah, I think my initial guess was right. That's what we're supposed to do. Yes, so we're taking this record and we're altering the title field. That's kind of cool, actually, because this is very, it's immutable. The default profile main still exists, but we're creating a new one, except that the title has been updated. That's what becomes our main profile. And then here I can say, oh, what do I want to return? Well, I do want to return the populated model, but I want to make one small alteration. I would like the main section to be equal to main profile. Now, just a reminder, it says, oh, yeah, we need to say just, because this is a maybe type. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, we're going to give this a shot. And if my thinking's correct, I guess we got to build it first. This should now be sticking the JSON that we're getting back into the title. Okay, this will be our first sign that we're actually getting data back. So let's give it a spin, hit this. Ooh, look at that. All this lovely, huge JSON. Okay, so it's working. We're making the HTTP call. We're getting back some data, and then we're updating our model in, a certain way. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to something a little more complicated, but this is a good first step. Thanks. See you in the next one.